MG has a new Hector coming out in the market very soon, and while we're here getting a first look at the changes, the price announcements will happen at the time of the Auto Expo. So there's still some time away for that. We're about a week away from that. But let me quickly take you through what those changes are, both on the exteriors and of course inside the SUV. On the outside, effectively what you can see is this large cascading grille with a diminishing pattern to those, well, diamond-shaped blocks on that front grille. This is the one most significant change, very observable compared to the previous generation SUV. Along with that, the light elements, the headlamp elements, also there's a significant amount of change over here. What I do like is that it is certainly very in your face. You will quickly notice this. But the quality of materials being used on this, I'm not very sure if this is a pre-production car, but if it is what goes into production and what will be offered in showrooms, the quality of these, well, this is all plastic and the quality doesn't really feel very upmarket, doesn't feel very premium. I'm hoping MG can change that, and production cars that come into the showrooms or that are delivered to consumers at the end of the day have much better finish than this, as well as, well, the fittings also for that matter. Another important feature that the Hector brings to consumers effectively are these blinkers right here. These can be automatically activated, and it just requires a certain amount of steering input, well, to automatically get those blinkers, whether it's the right turn or a left turn. In case you forget to switch on your indicators, the car will still do that automatically for you, and this is done at varying speeds and varying degrees of steering input as well, all the way from high speeds up from 0 kilometers an hour for that matter, all the way up to 120 kilometers an hour. Varying steering inputs will turn on the blinkers automatically for you. Profile, nothing has really changed. It still is the same car, small cosmetic elements like the door handles for instance. Otherwise, everything else stays the same. But here towards the rear, the light signature on the tailgate has changed considerably. Now there's a LED lamp, a light bar that stretches, that connects the two tail lamps, the wraparound tail lamps. And of course, this forms a signature design element. In addition, the Hector nameplate now grows much larger and extends across the tailgate as well. For the Hector Plus, you will have the plus sign in addition. Now, all the tailgates are powered tailgates, whether it's the 5, 6 or the 7-seater options, those are powered tailgates. Fairly large boot area, however, the spare tire continues to sit under the vehicle, access though is from the boot. The one additional inclusion, of course, is that of the ADAS badge, because now the Hector comes with ADAS, especially level 2 advanced driver assistance systems. And I'll talk to you more about that once I get inside the cabin. Step inside the Hector, and what's apparent instantly is that the dashboard has changed significantly, and well, the most noticeable feature is this larger touchscreen. The infotainment touchscreen has grown by almost 4 inches, from 10 inches in the previous generation Hector to 14 inches on the current Hector. Now, a lot of the applications can be found right here, applications that control both infotainment as well as various systems within the vehicle, one of which is, of course, the sunroof. Another advantage that the larger infotainment screen brings to the Hector, of course, is the larger viewing areas, especially when you're using the reversing cameras. Well, the clarity is quite impressive, and if you look at it, it's a large display area, so you see more of whatever you're backing up into. And while it's a very high contrast screen, the clarity, of course, is very impressive, and I think a lot of consumers would benefit from this. The quality of materials being used inside the MG Hector, well, there are a fair amount of inconsistencies. Now, while the steering wheel, it feels upmarket, it feels nice to hold, the materials on the steering wheel, on the top of the dashboard and certain other dashboard areas as well, they are top notch. Soft touch leather over there, the fit and finish of the steering wheel, it's all brilliant. But this is inconsistent because certain areas like this plastic element around the gear shift column, and of course this brushed aluminium finish center console. Certain areas like this don't feel very upmarket. There are panel gaps, inconsistent panel gaps as well. There are several elements that definitely feel very plasticky inside this cabin. So you've got a mix of both high quality premium elements and of course low rent elements as well. Another feature that's been added into the Hector, of course, is the voice commands or the connected technology, effectively. Their entire suite of features. There are about 75 plus features in the new connected technology suite. And one of those, of course, is with the navigation system, where you can effectively get commands or other instructions, guidance instructions from Map My India Maps in about 5 different languages. In addition, you can also communicate with the car using a mixture of Hindi or English or Hinglish as well. Now, while it's nice to use voice commands, essentially because it still allows you to do the driving functions very safely without you having to fiddle around with a large screen, despite it being a large screen and much more visible elements on it. The voice commands, though, is certainly the better way to go. Hello, MG. Help.
Hi, how can I help? Here's what I can do for you.
Now, as you can see, there was an exhaustive list of commands and something that you really wouldn't remember. This would take an extremely long time to remember all of those commands. You have to learn those commands because it won't function unless and until those specific keywords come through in what you're saying to the system. Now, the Hector also comes with the option of, well, the 5-seater cabin. You also got the 6-seater cabin or the 7-seater cabins. While most of the upgrades to the new Hector are cosmetic, especially the front end, the rear end, and of course inside this cabin, a few changes in configurations affect this mechanically as well, because you've now got just a petrol or a diesel engine option. Now, the petrol comes combined with both automatic or a manual transmission. The automatic, however, this time isn't a DCT, it's a CVT, and that's also because in the previous generation Hector, many customers faced an issue with the DCT gearbox, and now that has shifted to a CVT alone. The diesel, on the other hand, however, comes only with the manual transmission. Now, very important addition to the new Hector is the inclusion of the advanced driver assistance systems, level 2 especially. Now, we've seen it first incorporated in the Aster, but now it's available in the Hector as well. And there are about 11 functions that it offers to consumers, people who are in the car, who drive in the car for that matter. A few of them are fairly important. I'll gloss over the others, and we'll actually take you through a more detailed, experience of this when we're driving the car on the road. But for now, let me just talk to you about a couple of those. One, of course, is the bending cruise assistance, which essentially allows, or rather is a variant of the adaptive cruise control system, which also works when you're going around a corner, where the car will detect what is the angle of the corner and then determine the speed that should be used on that particular bend, on that particular corner. So wide sweeping corners, perhaps you might be able to go at a higher speed. Tighter corners, the car will slow down automatically. Another important feature, another very useful feature, is the traffic jam assistance, which uses a combination of both lane keeping assist and of course the adaptive cruise control, and this works at speeds of anywhere about 10 kilometers an hour. Now, this is a new inclusion in the ADAS system, including the speed limiter as well. So if you're in a traffic jam, the Hector will sense the distance from the car ahead and will continue maintaining that distance while it accelerates all on its own, accelerates or decelerates on its own using the adaptive cruise control feature. It will also, using lane keeping assist functions, allow the car to stay only within that particular lane. So you in effect do not need to control your steering wheel. The Hector will do that for you, as well as you do not need to control acceleration or deceleration, because the Hector will do that function as well. What I do like about the Hector is that there's a lot of fun yet gimmicky features inside this car, and one of those is the mood lighting or the ambient lighting, which you can set to whatever you desire. There's a multiple choice of colors for that matter, but here's what it does additionally, how this is where it takes it one level up, is you can use voice commands to activate or to select those particular colors. So I can just tell the car, hello MG,
I'm listening.
set the mood light to random.
Mood light is random.
And there you go. I've asked it to set it to random, but it's still stuck on green, and well, it's doing nothing else. So a few glitches. I'm hoping MG sorts this out in time, but well, we can just wait and watch.